The maintenance tunnels of Horizon's Edge hummed with the familiar rhythm of recycled air and distant engines. Zara Mitchell adjusted her toolkit and checked her chronometer 3 more hours until her shift ended, and she could return to the small sanctuary she'd carved out in the station's forgotten lower levels. Working as an animal rehabilitator on a remote trading station wasn't glamorous, but it suited her. Most travelers treated their exotic pets as disposable commodities, abandoning them when medical bills grew too high or when boarding fees exceeded their patience. Zara had built her reputation as someone who could nurse even the most unusual creatures back to health, asking few questions and charging reasonable rates. The distress call on her personal frequency crackled through her earpiece as she rounded a corner near the outer docking ring. Not a human voice, something else entirely. A series of soft, musical chirps that tugged at her heart, despite their alien origin. Following the sound led her through increasingly narrow passages, until she reached an emergency maintenance shaft near Docking Bay 7. The chirping grew weaker, more desperate. Zara pried open the access panel with practiced ease and peered into the shadows. "Oh, you poor thing," she whispered. Curled in the cramped space was a creature unlike anything in her databases. Roughly the size of a large cat, but with an elongated, graceful build that suggested it was built for speed. Its fur was a stunning pattern of deep blue with silver markings that seemed to shimmer in the dim light. Most striking were its eyes, large and intelligent, a brilliant violet that held far too much awareness for a simple animal. Blood matted the beautiful fur along the creature's side, and its breathing came in shallow, pained gasps. Someone had hurt this magnificent being deliberately. The wounds were too precise, too calculated to be accidental. "It's okay," Zara murmured, extending her hand slowly. "I'm here to help." The creature's eyes fixed on hers with startling intensity. For a moment, she felt a strange tingling in her mind, as if something was gently touching her thoughts. The sensation was so unexpected that she nearly pulled back, but the creature made a soft, pleading sound that broke her heart. Zara had always been empathetic with animals, able to sense their emotions and intentions better than most humans could. Read each other. This felt similar but magnified, as if this creature was trying to communicate directly with her mind. "Can you understand me?" she asked softly. The creature's ears, delicately pointed and mobile like a cat's, but larger, swiveled toward her voice. It made a deliberate effort to nod, the motion so clearly intentional that Zara's breath caught. "You're not just an animal, are you?" This time, the creature managed to shake its head weakly before collapsing back against the metal surface. Its violet eyes never left her face, filled with a trust that humbled her. Zara worked quickly to extract the injured being from the maintenance shaft. Despite its obvious weakness, she noticed it was careful not to scratch her with its retractable claws, another sign of intelligence and consideration that no mere animal would possess. Her sanctuary occupied a forgotten storage bay in the station's lower levels, converted into a makeshift veterinary clinic and recovery center. Hydroponic gardens provided fresh air and a sense of life in the sterile metal environment, while jury-rigged medical equipment allowed her to treat species the station's official medical bay couldn't handle. "Let's get you somewhere safe," Zara sighed, settling the creature onto her examination table. "I'm Zara, by the way. I know you can understand me, so you should know who's helping you." The creature made another series of musical sounds, different this time, more like an attempt at language than simple animal noises. Zara found herself wishing desperately that she could understand. Her scanner revealed internal anatomy that defied classification. The creature had 2 hearts, a reinforced skeletal structure, and neural pathways suggesting intelligence equal to or exceeding human levels. Most curious were the organic crystals embedded throughout its nervous system structures she'd never encountered in any known species. These crystals, she mused aloud while cleaning the wounds. They're not artificial implants. You were born with them. They must be connected to whatever allows you to touch my mind. The creature, she needed a name for it, watched her work with those remarkable violet eyes. When she accidentally pressed too hard on a particularly deep cut, it made a sound of pain but didn't try to bite or claw. Instead, it seemed to project a sense of gratitude that warmed her chest. I'm going to call you Kess, she decided. It means starlight in Old Terran. Those silver markings remind me of constellations. Kess chirped softly, and Zara could have sworn she felt approval radiating from the creature. The wounds were worse than they initially appeared. Precision energy burns designed to cause maximum pain while avoiding vital organs torture wounds. Someone had wanted Kess to suffer slowly. The realization filled Zara with protective fury. She didn't entirely understand Dot as she worked through the night, applying synthetic tissue grafts and pain relievers adapted from treatments for similar species. Zara found herself talking to Kess, as if to a friend. The creature listened intently, occasionally making soft sounds that felt remarkably like conversation. Whoever hurt you, Zara said as she finished the final suture, they won't find you here. This place is off the official station maps. You're safe. Kess managed to lift its head enough to touch Zara's hand with one paw. The contact sent another wave of that strange mental warmth through her, carrying unmistakable gratitude and something else, an emotion that felt surprisingly like affection. Rest now, Zara whispered, dimming the lights. Tomorrow we'll figure out who you really are and how to get you home safely. As she settled into her chair to monitor Kess through the night, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that saving this mysterious creature had just changed her life forever. Outside her sanctuary, Horizon's Edge continued its slow rotation through space, unaware that it now harbored a secret that would soon attract the attention of powers beyond imagination. The wounded stranger slept peacefully at last, silver markings seeming to pulse gently with each breath, a living constellation that had fallen into Zara Mitchell's capable hands. The luxury transport Stellar Grace docked at Horizon's Edge with none of the usual fanfare that accompanied diplomatic vessels. Baroness Thalia Vex had insisted on discretion. Her mission was too urgent for the delays that formal protocols would impose. Dot, standing at the viewport of her private cabin, Thalia pressed her palm against the transparent aluminum and closed her eyes. The bond that connected her to Kess pulsed weakly but steadily somewhere within the sprawling station. Her companion was alive, but the pain she felt echoing through their link made her claws extend involuntarily. Your Grace, came a soft voice behind her. We've received docking clearance. Captain Joran requests an immediate audience. Thalia turned to face Riven, her most trusted aide, one of the few Aetherians she could count as truly loyal. His silver blue fur was immaculately groomed despite the long journey, and his golden eyes held the concern he dared not voice openly. How long since you felt Kess's presence? He asked quietly. 6 days, Thalia replied, her musical voice tight with worry. The bond has never been severed this long. If not for these faint echoes, I would fear the worst. The Aetherian bond between nobility and their companions was sacred, formed in infancy and lasting until death. Kess had been her constant companion for 15 years, since she was barely old enough to walk. The connection between them was more than telepathic. It was spiritual, emotional, fundamental to her very identity. The advance team detected traces 3 days ago, Riven reminded her. Companion blood in the lower levels. Someone on this station knows something. Thalia straightened, drawing on the regal composure that had been drilled into her since childhood. Despite being only 28, she had ruled the Aetherian Consortium for 2 years, ever since her mother's assassination. Every day brought new challenges to her authority. No attempts to undermine her rule by those who saw her youth as weakness. The disappearance of Kess wasn't random. Someone had taken her companion to wound her, to destabilize her emotionally and politically. Without Kess, she felt incomplete, vulnerable in ways that went beyond the physical. Prepare my formal robes, she decided, but keep our true purpose hidden. We're conducting a routine inspection of trade regulations, nothing more. Captain Jorn proved to be a thin, nervous human with shifting eyes and too many questions. He met them at the airlock with a handful of section supervisors, all trying too hard to appear professional. Your Grace honors us with your presence, Joran said, his bow technically correct but lacking genuine respect. Though I must admit, Horizon's Edge rarely warrants attention from the consortium. We're a simple trading post. Simplicity can hide many complexities, Captain, Thalia replied. Smoothly. Her enhanced hearing picked up elevated heart rates from several of the humans' fear or guilt, possibly both. I trust your records are in order? Of course, Your Grace, though perhaps we could begin with a tour of our main facilities. The cargo, processing centers, merchant quarters. I'm particularly interested in your medical facilities, Thalia interrupted, watching their reactions carefully. The consortium has concerns about proper treatment of exotic species passing through border. Stations. A flicker of something recognition. Alarm? Cross joins features before he could suppress it. Certainly, Your Grace, though our medical bay is quite basic. We rely mostly on automated systems for non-human patients. As they moved through the station's corridors, Thalia felt the bond with Kess growing stronger. Her companion was here, somewhere in the lower levels where the official tour wouldn't venture. She needed to find a way to search freely without alerting potential enemies to her true purpose. The medical bay proved to be exactly as advertised: basic, automated, clearly. Inadequate for treating anything more complex than routine injuries. But Thalia's enhanced senses detected something else, the lingering scent of ether and blood, faint but unmistakable. Captain, she said casually, your records indicate several unauthorized life-form readings in recent days. Perhaps your sensors need recalibration? Joran's pulse spiked noticeably. Unauthorized readings? I'm not aware of any. That is, we have many traders passing through with exotic pets. Perhaps some weren't properly registered. Perhaps. Thalia's golden eyes fixed. On his face. I'd like to review those sensor logs personally, and interview any staff who might have encountered unusual specimens. Of course, Your Grace, though most of our personnel are currently off-duty. But we do have a civilian contractor who handles. Animal Care Rehabilitator, who works in the lower levels. Perhaps she could provide insight into any unusual creatures. Thalia's hearts raced Etherin's head too, and both were suddenly pounding with hope and anticipation. This rehabilitator, what is her name? Zara Mitchell? Joran replied. Human. Female. Been here about 3 years. Keeps mostly to herself. Takes care of abandoned animals. Harmless enough, though she has access to areas most civilians don't. Zara Mitchell. Thalia committed the name to memory, along with the captain's. Obvious discomfort when discussing her. Either this woman was involved in Kess's disappearance, or she was being used as a scapegoat by those who were. I would very much like to meet Miss Mitchell, Thalia said. Privately, if possible. Perhaps she could show me her facilities? Aye. Well, Your Grace, she operates somewhat outside official channels. Her workspace isn't exactly suited for diplomatic visits. Captain Joran. Thalia's voice carried the subtle harmonics that marked ether and authority. I didn't ask about the suitability of her facilities. I asked to meet her. The human captain swallowed hard. Of course, Your Grace, I'll have her contacted immediately. As Joran hurried away to make arrangements, Riven moved closer to Thalia's side. You sense something, he observed quietly. The bond is strongest when he mentioned the lower levels, Thalia confirmed. And this Zara Mitchell, there was something in his reaction. He's hiding something, but I don't think he's our enemy. He's afraid, but not guilty. Could she be the one who took Kes? Thalia considered this, reaching out with her enhanced senses to probe the emotional resonances around them. No, she said finally. If she had harmed Kes, I would feel it through our bond. But she knows something. She may even be protecting him. The thought sent an unexpected surge of gratitude through her chest. If this human woman had found Kes injured and was caring for him, then Thalia owed her a debt beyond calculation. Your Grace, Joran returned, slightly out of breath. Ms. Mitchell will meet you in Conference Room C in 1 hour. She seemed quite nervous about a diplomatic meeting. Understandable, Thalia replied. Please ensure we have complete privacy. No recording devices, no observers. This is to be a confidential consultation about animal welfare standards. As they waited in the small conference room, Thalia found herself pacing, despite her attempts at royal composure. The bond with Kes was so strong now that she could almost sense his presence directly below them. Her companion was alive, probably, healing and very likely in the care of this mysterious rehabilitator. The door chimed, and Thalia turned as a young human woman entered nervously. Zara Mitchell was smaller than she'd expected, with dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail, and intelligent. Brown eyes that immediately fixed on Thalia's face with undisguised fascination. But it was the scent that stopped Thalia's breath. Entirely. This woman carried traces of Kes's unique biochemical signature, not just blood, but the deeper markers that meant extended, intimate contact. She had been caring for him, holding him, comforting him. Your Grace, Zara said, her voice slightly breathless as she attempted an awkward bow. I'm honored to meet you, though I'm not sure why you'd want to speak with someone like me. Thalia studied the human woman carefully. There was no deception in her manner, no guilt or malice, only nervousness and something else, a warmth in her eyes when she looked at Thalia that sent unexpected shivers down the Baroness's spine. Ms. Mitchell, Thalia said softly, I believe you have something that belongs to me. Zara's heart hammered against her ribs as she faced the stunning alien woman before her. Baroness Thalia Vex was unlike anything she'd ever imagined, tall and graceful, with fur that shifted between deep blue and silver in the conference rooms. Lighting, her golden eyes held an intensity that made Zara feel exposed, as if every secret was written across her face. I believe you have something that belongs to me, the Baroness repeated, her melodic voice carrying undertones that seemed to resonate in Zara's chest. For a moment, Zara considered lying. The protective instincts that had driven her to hide Kes warred with the obvious anguish in those golden eyes. This woman, this regal, beautiful creature was suffering. And somehow, Zara knew with absolute certainty that the suffering was genuine. Your Grace, Zara began carefully, I'm not sure what you mean by. Please. The single word cut through her deflection like a blade. Thalia stepped closer, and Zara caught her scent something wild and exotic, like storm winds over alien mountains. I can sense him nearby. My companion, Kes. He's been missing for 6 days, and I felt every moment of his pain through our bond. Zara's resolve crumbled entirely. The raw desperation in Thalia's voice was unmistakable, and it matched perfectly with Kes's obvious distress whenever station announcements mentioned diplomatic visitors. He's safe, Zara said quietly, watching relief flood across Thalia's elegant features. Healing. Someone hurt him badly, but he's going to be okay. Thalia's legs seemed to give out, and she sank into one of the conference room chairs. For a moment, the regal composure slipped entirely, revealing a young woman overcome with relief and gratitude. Thank you, she whispered, and Zara was startled to see moisture glistening in those golden eyes. I thought. There were moments I feared. He was dead. The bond was so weak. I found him 3 days ago near the outer docks, Zara explained, taking a seat across from her. Energy weapon wounds, precise strikes designed to cause maximum suffering. Whoever did this wanted him to die slowly. Thalia's expression hardened, rage flickering beneath the relief. Assassination, she said grimly. Not of me directly, but of everything that makes me who I am. Without Kess, I'm vulnerable, incomplete. My enemies know this. Your enemies? Zara leaned forward, concern overriding her awe at speaking with. Alien nobility. Are you in danger? Something in Zara's tone made Thalia look at her more carefully. The human's worry seemed genuine, personal, in a way that went beyond simple humanitarian concern. Constantly, Thalia admitted. I inherited rule of the Aetherian Consortium at 26. Many believe I'm too young, too inexperienced. There have been 3 assassination attempts since my coronation, and taking Kess was meant to be psychological warfare, breaking my spirit before they move against me directly. Then we need to be careful, Zara said, rising from her chair. Captain Joran seemed nervous when I mentioned unusual animals. If there are enemies on this station, they might be watching for your reaction to finding Kess. The concern in Zara's voice sent unexpected warmth through Thalia's chest. This woman barely knew her, yet was already thinking of their safety as a shared concern. You said we, Thalia observed softly. Zara blushed, the color rising in her. Cheeks in a way that Thalia found oddly appealing. I mean, you'll want to see him, obviously. And someone needs to keep monitoring his recovery. Those wounds were severe. Show me, Thalia said, standing gracefully, but carefully. If we're being watched, ... Zara nodded, moving to the conference room's secondary exit. I know the maintenance routes. We can reach my sanctuary without using main corridors. As they navigated through narrow service passages, Thalia found herself studying her unexpected ally. Zara moved with quiet confidence through the stations. Hidden spaces, clearly comfortable in environments most humans would find claustrophobic. Her hands were gentle, but sure as she helped Thalia through tight spaces, each brief contact sending strange electricity along Thalia's nerves. Why? Thalia asked as they paused at a junction. You could have turned him over to station security, claimed a reward. Why risk hiding him? Zara was quiet for a moment, considering her answer. When I found him, he was trying to communicate. Not like an animal, like someone asking for help. And the way he looked at me. She trailed off, then continued more softly. I've always been able to connect with animals, but Kess is different. The mental contact we share, it's unlike anything I've experienced. You can feel his thoughts? Thalia asked, surprised. Not thoughts exactly. Emotions, intentions. It's like he projects what he's feeling directly into my mind. Zara paused, looking uncertain. Is that normal for Aetherian companions? No, Thalia said slowly. Our bond is telepathic, but it's exclusive. Kess has never been able to communicate with anyone but me. Until now, apparently. They reached Zara's sanctuary as the station's artificial evening cycle dimmed the corridors. The hidden space was a revelation. What should have been a sterile storage bay had been transformed into something resembling a garden. Hydroponic plants created walls of living green, and soft lighting gave the entire area a peaceful, natural feeling. Kess, Zara called softly as they entered. A musical trill answered from deeper in the sanctuary, followed by the sound of careful movement. Thalia's breath caught as her companion emerged from behind a cluster of flowering vines. Kess looked better than she dared hope. His blue and silver fur was clean and lustrous, the worst wounds covered by healing patches that were already beginning to fade. But it was his eyes, those brilliant violet orbs, that held her attention. They were bright with intelligence and completely free of pain for the first time in days. "My heart," Thalia whispered in Etherin, dropping to her knees as Kess bounded toward her. The reunion was everything Zara had expected and more. The bond between Baroness and companion was visible in the way they moved together, Kess pressing against Thalia's side while she buried her face in his fur. Waves of emotion seemed to radiate from both of them. Relief, joy, perfect completion. But watching them together also filled Zara with an unexpected sense of loss. For 3 days, she'd been Kess's primary source of comfort and care. The connection they'd shared had felt special, unique. Now, seeing him with his true partner, she realized how temporary her role had been. "He's beautiful," she said softly, trying to mask her conflicted emotions. Thalia looked up from her reunion, and something in her expression suggested she'd caught Zara's momentary sadness. "He speaks of you often through our bond," she said, gently. "Gratitude, affection, ... and something else. Protectiveness? Protectiveness? Kess believes you're in danger because of what you've done for him." Thalia's golden eyes were serious now. "He may be right. If my enemies discover you helped me." The lights suddenly cut out, plunging the sanctuary into darkness. Emergency power flickered on a moment later, bathing everything in red warning light. "Station security override activated," a mechanical voice announced. "All personnel remain in current locations pending security sweep." Zara's blood ran cold. That's not standard procedure. Someone's locked down the station. Thalia was already on her feet, every line of her body tense with battle readiness. "They know we're here. Kess, stay close." The sound of footsteps in the corridor outside made them all freeze. Heavy boots, multiple figures, moving with military precision toward the hidden entrance to Zara's sanctuary. "How did they find us?" Zara whispered. Thalia's expression was grim. "The same way I did. They followed the bond." She looked at Zara with something that might have been regret. "I'm sorry, Zara Mitchell. By saving my companion, you've made yourself a target of powers you can't imagine." The footsteps stopped directly outside the concealed door. "Your Grace," came a voice through the metal-cultured Etherin, but cold as space itself. "We know you're in there. Come out peacefully, and the human won't be harmed." Thalia's claws extended fully, and her lips pulled back to reveal fangs that were definitely not decorative. "Agent Corvin," she growled. "I should have known." "Someone you know?" Zara asked, grabbing a plasma cutter from her workbench. "My mother's former security chief," Thalia replied, positioning herself between Zara and the door. "I exiled him after discovering his involvement in her assassination. It seems he's decided to finish what he started." The hidden door began to glow as something cut through it from the outside. In moments, their sanctuary would be breached. Thalia turned to Zara, golden eyes blazing with an intensity that made the human woman's heart skip. "Whatever happens, know that you've done something extraordinary. You've saved not just Kess, but everything he represents to our people." "We're not giving up," Zara said firmly, surprising herself with her own determination. "There has to be another way out." As the door finally gave way and armed figures poured into their sanctuary, Zara realized that saving an injured creature had indeed changed her life forever, but the greatest changes were still to come.